He was strong-willed. I mean, he knew where he came from. We didn't have a lot growing up. We had each other. He made the best of everything.
He made everybody around him want to be a better person. He made everybody around him want to be the best soldier they could be. He made people better. And he did that by leading by example.
We planned it pretty much.
Y'all planned it. Is somebody making you say that?
Yeah, so that we could be together.
So that y'all can be together.
Yeah.
He was something to everybody he met, but to you, he was expendable. He was a check. A $400,000 check.
Honestly, I'm very sorry. You know, I know that is not even enough.
All of this for money and my son's spot. You could have had his house, his wife, and help raise his son, but you could never be him. He was better than you, and he still is. Because the kind of person that he was, his name will live on.
Lose some military people overseas, but you don't expect to lose them at home this way.
Hi, bad man.
Not bad enough for this.
It was a nightmare. It was just, I'll never forget it. Never forget it.
Hello everyone, I'm Brian Coneybear, and this is not your traditional ABC 57 newscast. We're dedicating it to the murder of U.S. Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III, a case that made national headlines. On military leave for the holidays, Sergeant Hassel was gunned down outside his father's Berrien County home on New Year's Eve 2018. His wife Kamaya planned the murder with her lover, another soldier named Jeremy Cuellar. Tonight, in this uninterrupted ABC 57 News special, we take you inside the investigation and the emotional fallout from that deadly shooting. A story of love, honor, and betrayal.
What's the address of the emergency?
I need help. My husband.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
I need help. I need help. My husband was shot. I need help.
I'm going to Friday call in St. Joe Township for a shooting. Wife is advising her husband has been shot. She's advised he's no longer breathing.
I got help coming there. I got help on the way there, okay? Stay on the line with me here. Stay on the line with me. Ma'am, what is your husband's name?
When the police arrived on the scene on New Year's Eve that year, it's a massive response.
Cyrus, can you get some tape and secure this for me?
Yep. He's right by that truck.
Man, we're gonna have to get him on this cot, okay? I know. Well, let me get in there, man, okay?
Kamaya, overcome by tears, even tried to get into the ambulance with her gravely wounded husband.
Hey, back up! Whoa. No.
The victim's stunned father arrived home minutes after the shooting.
You know who he is?
My son. It's Tyrone Hassel III. He don't even live here. He live in Georgia. He's in the Army.
Yes, be advised, K9 is tracking down Gerald. We got footprints in the grass here too.
Do you have any idea what happened here?
No, he just brought us something to eat.
Okay.
We were sitting on the couch eating, and then I just heard gunshots.
Okay.
And I ran to put my son in the room, and I came outside, and he was laying on the cart.
Okay, how many gunshots did you hear?
I don't know, I just heard a lot.
Hey, bud, I know this is messed up, but we got to get you guys out of here so we can secure this scene, okay? We got to collect some evidence and find out what the hell's going on here, okay?
And when you're doing the initial investigation, you don't want to leave any stone unturned.
The freaking shell casings are right there. That's close. He walked right up on him. He shot him point blank.
Don't do that to me, cuz. Let it go, man.
One of the first things that came out is that, it could have been just a random violent action. It could have been an armed robbery. It didn't seem to be the case, though. Nothing was taken from him. There was a thought that it could have been a mistaken identity.
No suspect info. She did not see it.
How many times was he shot?
5.
In the head?
2 in the head.
Oh, my God.
If he was that close, man, they knew who he was.
The police went down those roads. For 10 days, they looked at everybody, every lead that came in. They were trying to find out who could have done this.
Whoever it is, he's gonna say, hey, he pulled a gun on me. He shot at me. Whoever it is.
We don't have a suspect yet. Tyrone didn't deserve what happened to him. This wasn't even intended for him.
Tyrone Hassel III, known as Ty, grew up in Benton Harbor. A loving son, a loyal friend, a talented athlete.
Anybody that you talk to that knows him, be like, that's a good dude. No enemies.
A standout student at Benton Harbor High School, Tyrone earned a scholarship to Grand Valley State University. But with a desire to serve his country, he soon enlisted in the U.S. Army.
That was a kind of shock to me because he was going to school. He was in his second year in college. I was proud of him. Like, man, my son is doing it.
Hassel quickly climbed the military ranks and was ultimately promoted to sergeant. He also fell in love.
They met in the Army. When he first got in, fell in love, he treated her like his queen.
Tyrone and Kamaya quickly got married.
He absolutely put her on a pedestal. He's the kind of guy that you wanted your daughter to marry.
The young couple welcoming a son, Tyrone Hassel IV, lovingly called Chunk.
American dream. They was living it.
But their American dream would soon become a nightmare.
He loved her with all his heart, and it turned out obviously to be the biggest mistake he could have ever made, the way she betrayed him.
Do you have any idea how this happened?
I'm not sure.
We had a shooting last night.
As police from all over Berrien County worked around the clock to solve Ty's murder, his family held vigil.
Sergeant Hassel. That's what I want everybody to remember him as and by.
And they started a GoFundMe page trying to raise a $100,000 reward to help hunt down the killer.
We really want to know why and who did it.
On social media, Kamaya Hassel made nearly 24 posts about her husband's death, writing, quote, "I just wish I was dreaming, man. I'm trying not to blame myself." And even, quote, "I owe you another baby. We needed a girl." All while staying with the heartbroken Hassel family.
What was Kamaya like during those 11 days?
She was quiet. I just thought she was a wife in mourning. She would sit up on the couch and her eyes was always puffy and watery. And she was always sniffing. I don't know if she started to regret it afterwards or...
You heard his wife, Kamaya, on the 911 call calling for help. You saw her at the scene on the video. Anybody would have been convinced that she had nothing to do with this.
Keep that way.
But then police got the break they needed, and what they learned changed everything.
On January 10th, they received a call from Army Criminal Investigations Division.
A soldier in Kamaya's platoon, Specialist Jeremy Cuellar, told some friends at Fort Stewart, Georgia, about the murder.
For somebody to have that type of mind, eventually they're going to speak out. He was the type of person to brag on things. He bragged on it to a guy that he thought was his friend.
Quay, as friends called him, was arrested and taken into custody down in Georgia.
At this point in time, do you wish to have a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That same day, investigators in Berrien County received a tip from the mother of one of the soldiers who had come forward.
I have a military son and I had a conversation with him a few nights ago and he was very distressed about the situation. Both the wife and the boyfriend, he has now been bragging about it. You guys should look at the wife.
Investigators immediately called Tyrone's father and asked him to bring Kamaya down to the police station.
He was like, Mr. Hassel, go home and get some rest because she's going to be a while. And instantly my stomach I just got sick.
It was a Friday night about 9 o'clock and told me they had a possible homicide suspect. We met at Lansing at the lab there at about 11 o'clock. And then I interviewed her.
When did you start making this plan that was going to happen?
This came in Korea. We planned it, but I didn't take it seriously.
She was a victim, and she played it very well.
I can't count on my finger how many times he's given him a bath. I can count on my finger how many times I've had a break after I've worked the same amount of hours that he worked, and I still have to come home and do everything for the baby. While a relationship and a bond was built between me and Jeremy, because he would always tell me, you don't have to worry about that. When me and you get together, I'll make sure you have your break. I'll do this for the baby. I'll do that. And it just made me really feel like that all of that was going to happen.
I've interviewed thousands of people, and when I looked at her, you kind of start wondering, boy, she seems like things added up what this guy was saying down there, but maybe she is somewhat more innocent.
I just felt like if I would have called it off, like Jeremy probably would have like been upset at the fact that I called it off, and I didn't want him like mad at me.
As we started to talk, it started to kind of unfold what her role actually was in this, and as it unfolded, she wound up being one of the coldest people I run into in my career.
I was letting him know where he was going and him being back at the house. Like, he'll be on the way to the house, or he's already gone.
Okay. So 4 days you guys are trying to kind of get this going. So there's a thinking about this. Would you agree?
Yeah.
She was absolutely the genesis of the idea, the mastermind behind it. There's no doubt about that. She started this idea and was able to manipulate Jeremy Cuellar to follow along and do this for her.
I said, well, he's about to bring us something to eat, and then that's when he came back.
Her motivation? Money. More than $500,000 in military death benefits and life insurance.
The money is part of it, yes.
The main source of communication between Kamaya Hassel and Jeremy Cuellar was Snapchat. They believed that they could get away with it because the messages weren't saved.
Hurry up, he's on the way back, or don't leave yet, he's outside, or it's messages like that.
One of the big pieces of evidence we found when we were able to do a forensic examination of Kamaya's cell phone was searches she did on Google. She didn't have Snapchat on her phone, but when we went through her Google search log, we found references to how to delete a Snapchat message, how to follow through on Snapchat, or how long does it take to delete Snapchat. What we did have was Jeremy Cuellar's Snapchat accounts, and we saw a pattern of contact with one particular Snapchat username. Going through all of Kamaya's additional Instagram accounts and our social media apps, we were able to link up that username to her account.
Kamaya Hassel went to trial in July of 2019. She did not take the stand in her own defense. Her attorney claiming Kamaya's confession to police was forced.
And it was only after Detective Longuski went to work that she changed her story.
But the prosecution also showed the jury another confession, this one handwritten and signed by Kamaya herself. And the recorded jailhouse phone calls Kamaya made to her mother from inside the Berrien County lockup sealed her fate.
Why are you in jail?
Because I knew what was going on.
Why? I don't understand.
I don't know.
What you mean you don't know? Why?
I don't even have an answer, Mommy.
What you mean you don't have no answer? Come on, talk to me, because I don't understand.
Well, we planned it pretty much.
I can't hear you.
We planned it.
Y'all planned it?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Is somebody making you say that?
Somebody made me plan it. He was forcing me, and I don't know.
Who was forcing you, Kamaya?
His name is Quay.
Kamaya, that was crazy. You say he made you do that?
Yeah, he's pretty ill. I was forced.
Why y'all ain't just break up?
I was trying to. He wasn't letting me. And I was...
He what?
He wasn't letting me, and I was scared to tell anybody about what was going on.
Who you were scared to tell? You talk to me all the time. You could have told me.
I just knew that you would be disappointed. I just felt
like... You tell yourself the truth. No, I'm disappointed in this. I ain't disappointed in that other stuff. You was living a double life and you done had your husband killed, the father of your child, and you talking about I'd be disappointed? Talking about y'all not being together. This man took this man's life. That man ain't deserve that. You think you deserve that?
No, ma'am.
Surely, she was not giving a false confession to her mother.
How difficult was it sitting in that courtroom for you?
Oh, it was hard. It was tough, man. There was times that I wanted to just jump across that thing and just wrap my hands around her throat.
After 3 days and nearly 24 witnesses, it took the jury only an hour to convict Kamaya of her husband's murder. When the guilty verdict was read, she showed no emotion.
It's just like she's the devil.
A month later, Jeremy Cuellar pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to a minimum of 65 years in prison. But it turns out he also desperately wanted to tell his side of the story directly to the Hassel family.
He wanted to speak to us when he took the guilty plea. So when he walked out the door, his exact words, "I know y'all don't want to hear what I gotta say, but please come and listen to what I gotta say." I wanted to know what he had to say. Why not? You know, I'm a parent. I lost my son. Why not hear what he got to say?
Tyrone Hassel Jr. somehow summoned the strength to sit down for a video visit with his son's killer behind bars.
Honestly, I'm very sorry. You know, I know that is not even enough. I'm gonna just tell you my side.
He told me a lot more than what I really came there for.
Me and her liked each other. We started messing around, you know, and you know, she was telling me she wasn't happy.
When he got to talking about him and Kamaya, and I was blown away. They had an ongoing relationship. This guy was telling me about my grandson.
You don't have no other kids.
And telling me things that my grandson do that I know that he do, like when you pick him up, he lay his head on your shoulder, and he told me that it's like my skin just started crawling. I think I felt like my head just caught on fire when he told me that.
I ain't gonna cap, man. I was in love with her. It honestly took me like 6 times, sir. At least 6 times. I'm being completely honest with you.
At first, we thought maybe he was just trying to scope out the area and find the right place and time to do it, but he came over every single time to try and murder him. And we were able to track his movements from his cell phone, hitting off of cell phone towers, so we could see him leaving the area and then actually coming back to the area.
Cuellar's black Chevy was also spotted by a state police license plate reader that fateful night.
Did you talk to her afterwards?
After the incident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she in the window? Did she watch? Or did she say anything about that?
Nah, she didn't. She wasn't at the window. She didn't say anything about that.
I mean, after this whole scenario just came out and he died in my arms, I mean, you was the main person that wanted him dead, so I wonder, you know, what role did she play in that part?
She was like, yeah, like, you know, he died in my arms. And she was saying she was sad about it. And I'm like, then why'd you have me do it then?
You just sit up here and said you deprived Chunk of his mama and his father. So, to me, man, really, man, you seem like a good dude.
I'm listening.
It's gonna be a rough road, bro. I've been there. Just so you know, it's tough. I always said I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And right now, you probably my worst enemy, and I'm talking to you.
I could tell by the way you look, man, you want me to burn in hell, sir. And I understand that. I understand that. And I really hope you can forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna take forever, or you might not. But you know, I really hope you can. You know, my mind was twisted.
At the end, he said he wanted you to come visit again.
I would like for you to still visit me.
Yeah, I said it's gonna take a lot more than that Bible and God working on me to come back and visit you again. I think he just really wanted my forgiveness. I was shocked when he asked me that. I can't see myself going back there.
For her role in the murder, Kamaya Hassel was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
I want you to spend every day suffering behind bars for the rest of your life. And I hope every time you close your eyes, my son tap you on your shoulders and smile. You're a cold-blooded murderer.
Kamaya's attorney said afterwards they do plan to appeal. ABC 57 asked Kamaya Hassel and Jeremy Cuellar to speak with us from prison, but they both denied our request.
I still would want to know why. I really do want to talk to Kamaya. I do, and I'm not even gonna lie about that. I felt like she owed me that conversation. You know, you took my son away. You took your son's father away.
Tyrone and Kamaya's little boy is now living with her family in Florida.
Her mother is just as stunned as I am. Love my son like her own. You know, so you betrayed both families.
And if Jeremy Cuellar hadn't bragged to his friends about what happened to Sergeant Hassel, investigators and the victim's family fear they'd still be searching for the killer to this day.
They planned it and they almost got away with it.
In this case, just one of the coldest people I've run into in my career. I mean, to do what she did to her husband.
Sergeant Hassel had everything. He was a complete package. he had the integrity to lead. His very last act was to bring dinner to his son and his wife, to give them dinner. And then moments later, his life was taken by his wife.
You loved her like your daughter, and she lived with you for 11 days after the crime.
Took her out to eat, made funeral arrangements with her, sat down with the pastor, prayed with her. You know, that hurts, man. I'm basically taking care of the person that was responsible for killing my son for 11 days. And all this time, never knew.
The pain of that betrayal is still very real for the Hassel family, but they're now focused on that little boy, Tyrone Hassel IV, and making sure he grows up knowing what a hero his father really was. I'm Brian Connie Bear. The rest of today's headlines are next.